Okay, welcome back to One Piece in Review, episode number 132. This is where I'm reviewing the 920th episode of the anime and the 970th chapter of the manga. First of which, the new anime. Great reputation. Sanji's specialty Soba. Yeah, this one adapts pages 2 to 13 of chapter 927, and it also adapts, like, chapters, first couple pages of chapter 928. Let me take a quick look here about this. Let's see. Seems like they would adapt pretty much almost the entirety of this chapter. Because they take out the first page, and I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, the first page is just like a cover story, and then like it's almost the entire chapter. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I don't think there's much change here. I think the only thing that they didn't adapt in this one is just the last couple pages of this chapter for some strange reason. Yeah, I don't know why, but they decided not to do that for some strange reason. Yeah, here's the thing about chapter 926. It's 15 pages. But yeah, they adapted all but about 2 pages, which I'm like thinking that's kind of weird. I mean, why the heck would you do that for? Yeah, it's particularly a little weird, the fact it does that. Yeah, and then you have like the next chapter, you just dap like 2 pages. Yep. Yeah, just a couple pages, and that's pretty much it. Not much else to say about those two when it comes to adaptation. Now, what happened this episode? Mostly put, this episode has the anime debut about 2 characters. One, of course, is this adorable little girl who looks a lot like Otaku, appearance-wise, same exact face, except she only seems smiling. Yeah, it's revealed to be something kind of strange. Yeah, she basically, you first see her when these big Yakuza guys show up, and they're like, hey, like, they're cutting in line, and of course we first see Sanji handing out food to women who actually paid for them, and of course Frank complains, hey, all these are women, why don't we see male customers? And then we had 3 male customers who just happen to be frickin' Yakuza. And here's kind of the thing, the family I mentioned, I think it was a Kazuha family. Robin is familiar with him because she kind of serviced their boss. Not sexually, of course. It's basically serving them, like, drinking food. Yeah, so served him that. So she's very familiar with these guys. And probably pretty dangerous. And these guys basically are complete jerks to Sanji. It's like, hey, you're on our turf, pay for our protection. And Sanji's like, nah, I'm not paying because I'm strong. So he gives like food to the little girl. The real her name later in the episode is basically Taco, though she prefers to pronounce the name as Otako, which is basically means boy, even though she has a girl name. Yeah, and of course in the sub, Robin first was Taco-chan. Yeah, and so like she basically, the food she has in her hand basically gets knocked out of her hand by these jerks. So Sanji gets upset and proceeds to beat the living crap out of them. Like, he proceeds to beat up 2 of them pretty easily. Like, the big guy like throws right to Frankie, who proceeds to do a German suplex to the guy. A giant freaking suplex over a freaking building. Of course Frankie can do this. He's a cyborg. Takes him off. The other guy's beaten up by, and surprisingly, Usopp does not get involved. Yes, he does. He just stands there. Of course, here's kind of the strange thing. Usopp is familiar with the little girl because he kind of spotted because he thought he'd help her father, who's a thief. Yep. And at the end of the guys, he's like, hey, you guys spilled my food, so you're going to eat it. So he proceeds to stuff their mouths with food that actually ended up on the ground. And he proceeds to rob them to pay for the damages. Which, yeah, any owner probably has every right to do that. Basically, if a guy basically slops over their food, like throws on the floor like that, at least on the ground, if they do that and they're being jerks about, yeah, the owner has every right to do this. I'm sure that probably the laws of Wano are probably like, hey, why'd you beat these guys up? They basically threw my food on the ground. Was the food terrible? No, it was actually really good. And of course, these guys also scared away all the customers because they basically ruined his special soap, which he spent hours making. So they can juice the taco, and that Toko, and basically, of course, well, she thinks that Usopp's toad oil can help her father. Probably can't, and and then she's late because she's a Kamito, I think it's pronounced. She's a child attendant. Yes, and from what I can tell, the last couple pages from that particular chapter probably adapted at the start of the next episode. That's my personal guess. That's what it looks like for the preview I saw. Yeah, so she runs off because she's late. And luckily enough, Sanji, as an apology for, she had already paid for this bowl. The robe was ruined, so she basically got a guy replacement up really quickly. Eats it, goes off, and then we see a pop singer shows up. Yes, an older pop singer. And apparently Robin this is Robin's boss. And it's like, hey, congratulations, you've been summoned by the Shogun. So you get the chance to go to the freaking castle. And I was like, this is good. And go home and get ready. And then she goes off one place, and then we have Robin, Usopp, Sanji, and Frankie walk off and complete the direction like a badass moment. The episode has kind of a weird cutaway where we see Luffy in the mine, just basically mining picks, using his pick to mine rocks, and a couple of the guys basically very appreciative toward the way he did. Nah, you just felt he needed to be up anyways. So, of course, the old man from the previous episode thanks it for basically doing it. It's like, yeah, no sweat. I really want to be up that guy anyways, being a jerk. So he proceeds to give him some of his special tickets for food. Basically as you're welcome for thank you, and then he proceeds to continue his work, and then Renzo shows up. Yep, Renzo. It's been several episodes since last see the guy, and he's like Luffy Deno, Renzo, and of course not talking. And of course this is like spy stuff. This is typical spy stuff. They're not talking directly at each other. Now apparently no one notices a big huge ninja guy just popped up out of nowhere in the middle of a prison yard. And apparently the guards probably don't notice this at all. Probably just to see that, oh yeah. So basically Renzo, who is basically disguised, wearing the stupid disguise of putting a little bit of rag at the top of your little tiny little nose. You call that disguise? That is a terrible disguise. If you want a proper disguise, I don't know. How about put the thing that's on top of your head around your mouth so that it won't recognize you? Yeah. So he tells him that, okay, I found the key to your cuffs. They're locked in a box. It's going to take a while to get to. It's like, okay, fine. And figure brief, pops away, and of course, the episode ends with the anime debut, with technically the grown-up version of Momo's sister, his smoking hot sister, makes her anime debut. Well, basically, we know she appeared in silhouette. And no, they don't reveal this is actually Momo's sister, but technically this is Momo's sister. Yeah, this geisha woman who basically is described as the most beautiful woman in the whole country. Yeah, her father happens to be Odin. Yep. And well, that's the episode. Great way. This episode, I gotta hand to this one. Toei did a great job with this episode. It was really damn good. Yeah, it's something of the episode, almost an entire chapter, which is roughly 15 pages, with the exception of the last 2 pages. They did up to 213, but they ended the last couple pages for some reason. They'll probably save it for next week. Alright, now for new chapter manga, Odin versus Kaido. And a question I asked a while ago gets answered with this very chapter. I'll get to it. First, we have this wonderful cover story of Game Bench's Oh My Family. We have Benj and Vito immobilized by people who are under some love potion. Yep. And then we open up with Odin, basically him and his group marching to the Shogun, the thing of him and Kaido. And of course, not what I expected. They compared, basically, like, perhaps I have a spy in your council. I just have my mansion built. I rather not have you as a battleground, so I'll come out to meet you instead. That was all a lie, wasn't it, Kaido? That's right. Yeah, it's like, okay, like, what? Since when does Kaido talk this way? Saying, Yeah, I'm seeing this, I'm like, okay, why is he talking this way? He never did this ever in the anime. Even the sub, he never did this. Which is kind of weird. Yeah, and now he's talking this way, and yet in present day, he does not talk this way at all. Less than disadvantage back then, so Odin takes out his sword and proceeds to fight frickin' Kaido. Yep. First takes out his frickin' men. The fails lost. And then we see Subaru, and when she's much younger, and she's smoking hot. Like, this is, of course, 20 years before present day. She looks like she's probably, like, in her 20s. So, does that mean that in present day she's probably in her 40s? Yeah. So, they take them on, and the battle goes, like, real well. And then we see that apparently Odin, yes, Odin is the one. Odin two-sword style. Paradise Totska. Where he proceeds to make the big X that's been on Kaido's chest since his debut. I have been wondering, like, how the heck did that happen to him? So, this chapter answers that question. Where did that scar come from? Apparently, Odin did this to him. Freaking badass. So, this means that... So, does this mean that Kaido is basically weak against swords? So... Maybe, instead of Luffy battling him, maybe we could have freaking Zoro battle him because he's the only... Either probably Zoro or probably Brook can take him on. And Kaido's the words like, he landed a blow under the midst of Kaido! Yep. It's like, and of course he thinks, like, never back to Kawano. Stop by there, Odin. Help. And I think it's basically holding his children hostage. And then, of course, Kaido comes back in his human form. Yep. Of course, they threaten his children, and then I think it's also basically a stab, but he's still alive. Don't worry, he's still alive present day. So apparently, Odin's been captured by Kaido, and the ninja, basically Subaru, just walk around here. This is technically our first chronological appearance in this very chapter. So Odin's group has basically been captured. And it says, in public square in 3 days hence, the 10 wicked samurai are sentenced to be boiled to death. Ooh. Next chapter hits February 16th. Absolute fantastic chapter. And I'm so glad we answered that question. Basically, where did Kaido get that scar from? And this chapter answered that question tremendously. Thank you. Thank you, Oda, for finally answering the damn question that I'm sure that a lot of people have probably been asking for quite some time. Where did Kaido get that scar from? Yep, this chapter finally answers that question. I give this chapter roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really damn good. Get an extra half point because it answers the question I've had for quite a while. Where did you get that scar from? Yep. Normally I would give this chapter like a 9 because it's still a great chapter, but the extra half point is because of the question basically that probably people have been curious about since Kaido first showed up in this series. Where did he get that mysterious scarf from? Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my next review, which will be a review of the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. I'm also planning to do a Comic Corner today. Of course, the review of newest episode of Boruto. A regular review of, basically, now I'm into regular reviews for Demon Slayer, because I've caught up with the actual series. And I'll be starting a new anime today. Now, I did say that originally I was going to go back to Ruby after I finish up, like, the was of the Rama Half franchise. But this particular series I've been wanting to get to for some time. So, today, it will see my first part of my review for Trigun. Yes, I get my thoughts on it soon. Today. I got 2 more episodes I'm going to go over. I'm going to basically review the first 4 episodes for it and get my thoughts on these episodes, okay? But see you in the next view. Bye.